Hello everyone, this is Akash here. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about container orchestration with Docker Swarm. So let's go with the agenda. So as part of the agenda, first we are going to discuss about what is Docker Swarm. Then we have why do we use Docker Swarm, and then we are going to have a simple Docker Swarm setup. And then there are some demos that how do we start a Docker Swarm service, and then we have how do we create a high availability Docker Swarm service, and then we are going to see how do we use the scaling up and scaling down services, and last but not the least we are going to see that how do we remove the swarm workers. Okay, so first of all, what is Docker Swarm? So this could be one of the most easiest definition for Docker Swarm if somebody will ask you. So Docker Swarm, the one liner is going to be the Docker Swarm is a container orchestration tool. Okay, so this means that it allows the user to manage multiple containers deployed across multiple host machines. So till now we have seen that how do we create a Docker engine, and over there how do we create multiple containers. So Docker Swarms helps you in managing all those containers across multiple machines using the orchestration tool. So we are going to see this how. Okay, so why do we use Docker Swarm? So as you can see over here, our first point is that leverage the power of containers. So as we all know that containers has become very famous these days because containers allows developer to deploy application or services in self-contained virtual environments. Okay. So, and when we talk about Docker Swarm, developer loves Docker Swarm because it fully leverages the design advantages offered by containers. We are going to see this in the demo section. Okay. So the next point is Docker Swarms helps guarantee the high service availabilities. So the Docker Swarm is designed in such a way that it will must have a Swarm manager that can assign all the tasks to multiple worker nodes. Okay. So by implementing multiple workers and managers, developers ensures that the application stack or the system can still continue to function even if one of the manager or one of the worker node fails. Okay, so we are going to see this in the demo section on how do we achieve high availability. Okay, and last but not the least, we have automated load balancing. Okay, so Docker Swarm basically schedules all the tasks using variety of methods to ensure that there are enough resources available for all the containers. Okay, so through the automated load balancing, the Swarm managers ensure that the container workloads are assigned in the most efficient manner. So we are again going to see this in the demo section. So these are the list of demos which we have already talked as part of the agenda. So let's go one by one. So first we are going to set up the Docker Swarm. Okay. So for this demo, as you can see over here, I have taken 3 machines and I have dedicated 1 machine for the manager and 2 machines for the worker. Okay. So let's log into this particular machine using my public IP. Okay, so I have logged in here. So the first thing which Docker Swarm is going to initiate is the manager. Okay, so by default, wherever we are going to run, wherever we are going to initiate the Docker Swarm is going to be our manager. Okay, so over here when we run the command Docker Swarm init, and then we are going to advertise the address. So this flag is used to advertising itself. Okay, so it is going to advertise this particular machine for all the worker nodes to connect this particular machine with all the worker nodes. Okay, so over here you have to provide the IP address, the private IP address for the manager. So the moment you run this particular command, so this particular token has been generated at the manager. Okay, so we have to copy this particular entire command, and we have to log into all the node machine and we have to execute over there. Okay, so by doing this, my all the nodes will be added as a node to this manager. Okay, so let's copy this one. First of all, let's log into the worker node. So this is my first worker. My username is Akash underscore worker 1. And when we run this particular command over there, so you can see over here that it generated a message called this node joined a swarm as a worker. So this particular command is used to join the node as a worker. Okay, so the earlier command which we used is used to join any machine as a worker, and if you want to add any new machine as a manager, you can use this particular command, docker swarm join token as a manager. If you are going to run this particular command in any machine, it is going to be added as a manager. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll just use the same command to add, because my demo is going to be one manager and two worker. Okay, so you can have as many managers as you want, and you can also have as many workers as you want. Okay, so let's go to the second machine. So once you do that, let's copy the same worker command and run it over here. So you can see that this machine also added as a worker. Now let's go back to the parent machine, that is my manager machine, and if you just run docker node ls, you can see over here. Okay, let's maximize this one and run this command again. So you can see over here that there are three machines which has been added in the docker swarm list. Okay, and the first machine where we initiated the docker swarm has become manager, is, I mean, we also call it as leader. Okay, and rest other doesn't have the tag of leader, so these are the worker node, these two are the worker nodes. I mean, our docker swarm setup is now completed. Okay, let's go with the second demo. The second demo is that we have to start a docker swarm service. So instead of creating a container for any application, let's create a service in docker swarm. So the command to create a service is docker service create. Let's give a name. So I'm going to create a Jenkins server, okay, which will be managed across multiple containers and multiple nodes. So I'm going to give it as my Jenkins server -p. So the port 8080 is going to be exposed, and the image which I'm going to use is Jenkins. So just run this one. So this is going to take some time to create the docker service. Okay, so I'll see you once this particular service is created. So you can see over here my service is now created. Now how do we check that? Just run docker service ls. Okay, so you can see here that my service is created. So let's go to each and every section over here. So this is my service ID, and this is the name of the service which we gave while running. So if you can see here that we gave docker service create the name as my Jenkins server, and the mode is replicated. Okay, so this means that the service is replicated to all the nodes in the cluster. So you can see in the previous example there are three nodes. Okay, so by any chance, if any of the nodes, so currently for example, if you go back to docker service ps and the name of the service, you can see that it is taking the first node, that is my master node. So currently it is running in the master node. Okay, so this is not going to be a good example that in the real-time scenario you should not use the master node in any of the service creation. So let's see that how are we going to stop this particular node. Okay, so the command is docker node update hyphen availability, then the command is train, and then the name of the manager. Okay, so here in this case the name is IP and then the private IP. Okay, so if you go to docker node ls, you can see here that my manager is now trained. So as part of the cluster, now my manager will not be participating in any of the service creation. It is only over there to manage all your worker nodes and the health part of your worker nodes. So let's go back to the docker service. So docker service ps and the name. So you can see over here that this is a perfect example of high availability. Okay, so since I shut down my master node to participate in any of the service creation, automatically my Swarm cluster created this particular Jenkins server in a new node. Okay, that is my third node. Okay, and since the previous node was deleted because it was not participating in any of the service creation, it created the service in the second worker node. Okay, now how do we basically manage this particular service? Because since, like, if you can see now that the service is currently participating using the second worker node, and it could also use the first worker node. Okay, so like that you might have several workers. So how are you going to access your Jenkins using which IP? So the answer is very simple. You're going to use the master IP. So if you just provide this IP over here, you can see that your Jenkins is accessible over here. There are certain configurations left for the Jenkins, which I'm not going to show over here. If you want to know more about how do we install Jenkins, you can probably click on this I button and see that particular video. So here you can see that my Jenkins is now accessible using the master IP. Okay, it doesn't matter that in which worker nodes my Jenkins is currently being managed, the Jenkins service is currently being running. I can access my application using the master node. Okay, so this is the main advantage of container orchestration. Okay, and if you don't want, if you have shortage of resources, and if you want your machine, your master machine, to also participate in the service creation, you can again go back to this command and make it as active. So instead of drain, you can run this particular command, that docker node update the availability of the master node with active. Okay, so now if you go to docker node ls, you can see that all the three nodes are active, including your master node. Okay, so now that we have seen that how do we create a service, let's see that how do we create the service with replicas. Okay, with multiple replicas. So let's go to docker service first, and let's delete this particular service. So the command to delete the service is docker service rm and the service name. Okay, so now if you run docker service ls, you cannot see the service. Okay, so we are going to run this particular command again, docker service create, and before this port I'm going to run replicas equal to 2. Okay, so let's see what does it do. So it is going to take some time. I'll come back once this particular service is created. So as you can see that now we have 2 replicas created. So to check that, again we are going to do docker service ls, and we are going to run docker service ps to check the number of containers for this particular service. So you can see that there are 2 containers currently running, because we have created the replicas as 2, and the first one is running in the master node and the second one is running in the second worker node. Okay, so as part of the high availability I have already shown this. So let's go and delete, let's do it again. If you want to update one of the worker node as stopped, so I'm just taking the example of drain to the worker node. Okay, so either you can also manually go and delete this particular machine, just to show an example of high availability, that if something goes wrong with any of your machine, how your docker swarm is going to manage that particular service. So in this case I have just stopped the second worker. If you just see docker node ls, you can see that my second worker is in a drain state now. So if you go to docker service ls, docker service ps and service name. So you can see over here my docker swarm has replicated the service to a new machine, that is worker node 1. Okay, so since only one machine was deleted, it just took the first worker node. So if you try running docker ps, you can also see that your container is currently running in master node. So this container is showing there are two containers currently running. Okay, so one container is running in the master node, that is over here, and one container is running in the first worker node. Okay, so to see the container of the master node, you can just run the command docker ps in the master machine itself. And if you want to see the container running in the worker node, you can go back to the worker node. Okay, so if you just run docker ps, you can see over here that the container is running over here. Okay, okay, so now we are going to see that how do we basically scale the service across multiple containers. So to do that, first of all, let's see the name of my service. Sorry. So run docker service scale and then the service name equal to the number of containers which you want to scale. Okay, so here in this case currently there are two containers running in two particular machines, so I want to scale my service across 5 containers. So let's do that. So if you just run docker service ls and docker service ps and then the application service name, and now you can see over here that all the 5 services are load balanced and these are distributed across both the worker node. Okay, that it is currently distributed across the worker node 1 and worker node 2. So all your containers are distributed. So this is the perfect example of load balancing. Okay, so since my application requirement was that it should run across 5 containers and 5 containers are distributed across all the machines which I currently have in my docker swarm cluster. Okay, and still if you want to access your application, you can still go to your master machine and run this particular command. Okay, that is your host ip, that is the master ip and the port which you have been exposed, and that's all. You can run this one, so you can still see that your application is still accessible with the master machine. Okay, so that's the main advantage of using load balancing, high availability, and then how do we scale number of containers. Okay, so all of these things you can do with docker swarm. So this is a perfect example of docker container orchestrations. So using just containers, maybe you can just create a simple application and you can then just containerize that application, but with docker swarm you can actually manage all your containers together which is running across multiple machines. Okay, so last part was that we are going to see that how are we going to delete a node. Okay, so let's go back to the, so this is my worker node, and if you go back to your machine, master machine, just run docker node ls, you can see that all the 3 machines are available over here. And if you just run here in the one of the worker node, so here in this case I am taking worker node 2, so just run docker swarm leave. Okay, and that you can see the message comes that node has left the swarm. So if you run this docker node ls again, that yeah, so now you can see that the status of this particular machine, that is one of the worker node, is down. So after some time it is going to be deleted from this list. Okay, so that's how you can basically delete any worker node or you can add any worker node by using just a token of manager. Okay, so we have just seen that how do we set up the docker swarm, and one thing to notice that I just forget to mention you that you have to install docker. And that's quite obvious that you have to install docker in all the 3 machines. Okay, so if you don't know that how I have installed docker in all the machines, that is your master and all the worker nodes, You can probably check the video by clicking on the I button in the corner. So where I have explained that how do we install Docker from scratch. Okay, so you can, by using that particular video, you can have Docker installations in all your 3 machines. So we have seen that how do we set up the Docker Swarm, then we have seen that how do we create a service, and we also saw that how do we manage Docker Swarm with high availability, and we saw that how do we scale up the number of services, and at last we saw that how do we remove a Swarm worker node. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.